Hey guys, hey, how's it going? Hey, it's Heavy T here. I just wanted to shoot out a video. Been trying to get these videos put up with the pictures and trying to put them together in a slideshow, and just been having a little issues with it. With them, they've been twisting them and turning them somehow before they come up on the YouTube videos. So I'm not sure what they're doing to manipulate them or how they're doing it, but I just want to apologize for some of them being sideways still. I know I messed up on the first one, but the others were fine, and somehow they're ending up being twisted anyway. So I just wanted to point that out to you guys. The uh, the Gangsters in that video are very, very real. I have no idea what they're holding, right now. I'm assuming I see a camera lens on a couple of them at one point, but then what the kid carries towards the end, it looks like the bigger gang stalker there actually kind of shields her coat out and kind of hides something. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. But if you take a look at my videos and slow them down, maybe you guys can figure it out. I just I know that they're doing something illegal, and they're doing something. She's definitely looking at my computer, and she definitely uses a hive mind to basically talk to the librarian. She doesn't say a word. I shouldn't say talk, but to basically get the librarian to look my way. She doesn't say a word the entire time, but look at her, and the librarian looks at her and immediately looks at me. So there's definitely some hive mind mentality going on there, and I just wanted to point that out. And to all you targets out there, I know there's been people that have struggled over the last couple of weeks, and I know we all are struggling every day. It's getting a little bit more difficult lately. I think for all of us. I don't know how they're manipulating you guys currently right now, but I can tell you right now, all my stuff is being messed with. And so if there's anything that you guys have a question about, please feel free to shoot me an email at I would try rippinggangstalkers@gmail.com. That's probably the best place to get a hold of me at. And I will try to respond if I get it. If I don't respond, then somebody blocked it, and there's nothing I can do about it currently at this time. Um, I will be setting up a couple more encrypted emails, but I've actually had a couple of them that have they've gotten actually compromised as well. So I haven't been able to find one that I'm comfortable with yet, completely reliable on. So once I do that, I'll get a hold of you. I'll let you guys know what the new email address is. I just recently had gotten fired from a job. I worked at Ace Hardware I worked there for about a week, and I got fired because they told me to hang up Christmas lights, and I put Merry Christmas in the Christmas lights, and they fired me for it. So I just wanted to let you guys know that happened to me, and still having a problem with the job situation, blacklisting. I was really surprised I got the job there, but then I thought about it, and I actually filled out the application by hand. I never did any emailing with it, so that's probably why they hired me on. But other than that, I haven't had any luck at all. No phone calls, nothing. So, and some of the jobs these are jobs I'm taking that are like 10, 11 bucks an hour, and I'm qualified for way more. I used to be a regional sales manager at one point, making almost 80,000 a year. So, I'm definitely overqualified for these types of jobs. So, but I'm not getting anything. And there's job hirings everywhere. So, there's definitely some blacklisting going on with it. I don't really have any advice on that. I would just recommend maybe finding a library outside of your county or outside of your city, and just really making way of it when you get there, and just get as much done as you possibly can within that day, and then don't come back for a while, and then they might not recognize you. If you're not going back there all the time, they might not flag you and tell the librarians and stuff to watch you and stuff. But I noticed at my library, the first couple of times was fine, and they started coming in, and that's when I saw the librarians looking at me, and everything was going weird at that point. In fact, on the computers, some of the keys weren't punching, so they were electronic harassing me on their own computers at the library. So that started happening, I think, on my third or fourth visit. So um, what else? The lasers coming down from the lights, it's not nearly, you don't see the lasers coming down anymore. One thing I wanted to point out to you really quick though, hang on just a second, I'm gonna take you guys over there. is I want to show you the radiation levels, because you can see how it's in here. It's, you can see a little spotting, but and that's, you can see how bright that light is. Again, it's still really bright, but it's not emitting the lasers anymore. They tuned that down, obviously, because I caught them on it. But look at this picture here. I mean, you can see how the dots and pixels are like staticky. Now that's high radiation there, levels of radiation, I believe. And I had somebody tell me that that's actually, he used to work for Lockheed Martin, but he actually does his own electrical contracting work now. So he actually told me that's what that was. So I don't know if you guys have any interpretation on that, or any feedback for me on that, let me know. But I just wanted to point that out. You can see how high the radiation levels are around these lights. I'm definitely going to change the bulbs out here. I just was trying to do some more testing on them first, so it's definitely a lot better in here. And I just wanted to point that out as a reference. I don't know if you guys are experiencing the same amount of radiation that I am, but it's definitely pretty heavy. One thing I want to point out before, there's a lot of things that had happened to me growing up, and I did have encounters where there was some types of beings, dark beings, I would call them, for sure, because it was extremely dark, whatever was in my room. But they used to come in and they would like levitate me, and I could feel that they were sucking energy off of me. And they would levitate me above the bed, and I would be like in a sleep paralysis type of state where I was unable to breathe, I was unable to move, and I had this overwhelming fear of evil around me. And these beings were black and dark. They were just there, and they would just suck the energy out of me, is what they were doing. That's the only thing I could feel, is like my energy was depleting or something. And then they wouldn't visit me every night. It would be like once. I remember when I was younger, it was like once every like couple of months or something like that I would get these, and then occasionally I'd get like 2 in 1 month. But it was definitely very fearful for a child. When I would go to bed, I was always scared about when they would come in. And there was one time, I believe there was one time when I remember being like knocked unconscious. I saw one of the beings come towards me by the closet one night when I woke up from a really bad nightmare, and really fearful nightmare, and for a little kid. And it was something to do with, I'm not going to say it on here because I don't want to give them any fear-induced types, even though they can probably read my mind. But I don't want to throw out anything else out on it. But when I woke up from it, I saw this thing coming towards me, and then I just went unconscious. I don't know what happened after that. So I just wanted to point that out because I think it's important, because we're dealing with something that's spiritual here. We're dealing with something that's evil. And another thing I wanted to say too is I believe I did all the research back on my ancestry, and there's definitely an ancient bloodline of mine that I believe is being targeted. So both my grandpas killed themselves for the same reason. I've never said this before, but I'm coming out and saying it now because I think it's important. I just found a gang stalker that was talking about, he has a website now, or a YouTube video channel that he's doing, where he's talking about going out and doing policing and stuff like that, gang stalking basically. And I put it out there. I was trying to save the guy because I didn't want him. He seemed like a younger guy, and he really seemed like either he's lying or he's like, he thinks he's actually going out to like get bad people, drug dealers and stuff like that, and murderers and child molesters and shit. And that's who he thinks he's going out to target. So I threw out there about my heritage a little bit, and that my last name is actually Bishop. And one of my ancestors was actually Bridget Bishop. She was actually the first one that was hung in Salem when they did the witch trials. And so my ancestry traces back to that line on my father's side. And I just thought I'd throw that out there in case it gets out there later on. And just for the gang stalkers to like actually maybe think about what they're doing, because she was hung because she was a free-spirited human being, and she was targeted. Her parents were targeted before that as well. So I'm not sure exactly how far it goes back after that. I know, my mom's side, they came from Ireland, and I have some Nordic blood in me on that side, and can possibly be traced. I would say I'm about 85% sure back to the tribe of Dan too as well. So on my mother's side, so it could go either way. I don't know exactly which bloodline it is that's being targeted, or both of them are just being targeted. But I'm definitely being targeted for, I believe, blood reasons, for ancient bloodlines that I carry. So, which is not really necessarily my fault, and not sure exactly where the dispute is or what's going on with that. But I just wanted to throw that out there because if you're a gang stalker and you're doing these things, and I don't think all of them are doing the raping of women and stuff like that, but that is happening. And if you are just a gang stalker that thinks you're going out policing, and you put on the vest and the fluorescent vest and stuff like that, and you think you're going out and getting gang stalking criminals and pedophiles and stuff, you're not. Most of us are actually squeaky clean. We have squeaky clean records. I've never had one criminal offense, not one felon. It's completely clean, and I can't get a job to save my life. And I've got people that are stalking me in my neighborhood. I've got people stalking me when I go out to the stores for no fucking reason. So you can believe me or not, I don't give a shit. I'm going to tell you this, though, that they can make up any footage, any audio that they want. They can manipulate anything on at real time, and they can change. They can actually make you look like you're doing a crime, and you were never even at that place. So that's how far advanced the technology is, and it gets more advanced here in the future. I'm just telling you that now. I know for a fact it does. So it's going to get a little worse before it gets better, guys. And for the gang suckers that are getting involved in this program, save yourselves and get out now while you can, because once they get you blackmailed into the program, and once you finally do kill somebody who's innocent and you find out about it and stuff, they're going to blackmail you into it and say, hey, if you don't stay in, we're going to tell people you killed an innocent human being, and then they'll keep you into the program. So there's a lot of ways that they keep you in, and they will keep you in no matter what. So if you get in early, get out as soon as you can, and because you're doomed. You're basically signing your death warrant when you join the gang stalking unit, that you think you're helping people. You're not. It's actually designed by the Trilateral Commission. It's happened worldly. It's not just happened in the United States. All the NATO countries are involved with it, and it's coming down from the top, from the Luciferian agendas. Fallen angels are basically the corporations. They're controlling corporations. Corporations are controlling governments, and the governments are actually instigating this under black op guidance, and they will say nothing about it. The media will say nothing about it. We have over, I think it's 8 to 9 million gang stalking Google searches in the last like 6 years or something like that. And there's been like maybe 5 stories in mainstream media about it, and 2 of them make us out to be mentally ill. And, which they have no evidence on the mental illness. And if it was an outbreak of mental illness, wouldn't they be more talking about it more? I mean, all of us have the same symptoms. Most, schizophrenia and mental illness happens in adolescent stages. We're all grown up. We're all getting these symptoms after the age of 30. And it doesn't make any sense. They follow the same things. These are real people. I pointed them out to people that I've been around, and they see them. They see the planes that are flying overhead, whether they're holograms or not. They're seeing the planes flying over us. So it's very real. It's not something we're making up in our head. People are breaking into our homes. I've got audio of that. I got video of them at the library. You see those people, what are they doing? They're sitting there staring at my computer, trying to get information off of what I'm doing on my computer, because everything here is hacked at my home, and I have to go to the library in order to pay a couple bills and send some emails out, because I can't trust any of my equipment here. So you got to think about things like that. A lot of people say, that we're crazy, we're mentally ill, but I can't, what's crazier, to believe that we're mentally ill, that we're making up audio of people breaking into our houses because we want attention, making up that people are chasing us around. Do you think that's fun for us? Does it sound like we're having a lot of fun on these videos? I mean, I got lasers coming out of my light sockets at one point. I've got radiation shooting in here. A neighbor across from me in my backyard here was shooting our house with a satellite dish, and I have an ELF meter that was showing danger readings. I've got that documented. I mean, that's not stuff mental illness makes up, so I just want to point that out. I think it's more crazy to think that since the church committee hearings and there was no disciplinary action towards our intelligence agencies for conducting the MK Ultra and the Project Monarch, um, and also the COINTELPRO was actually happening as well, and they got caught by the protesters breaking into the government buildings and getting all those documents out, and they weren't punished at all. They said they would stop the programs and they didn't. There was Project Pegasus, Project Phoenix, Montauk came out after that, and a couple of others, and probably more that we don't even know about. And they never stopped it. They have 200 times the technology than they had back in 1970. It's been 40 years later, and they have trillions of dollars more than they had back then in 1970. So you can better believe it's crazier to think that you would think that our government wouldn't be doing these types of programs, considering the power and the disregard for human life that they have nowadays, or any of us for that matter. They're poisoning our water, our food. I mean, look at the chemtrails. I mean, I've showed videos where I've got chemtrail planes that just disappear in midair. What the hell's going on with that? Why isn't anybody taking a look up and saying, hey, what the fuck's going on up here? At night you can see the stars. I mean, half the stars aren't there. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I mean, I've been trying to count, certain constellations. I don't even see them anymore. They're not even up there when they're supposed to be. The moon's in a different direction, in different parts of the night where it shouldn't be. So something else is going on here. And like I said, I've been trying to point out that, our consciousness has been put into some type of a matrix system or something. I don't know. They've hijacked our consciousness into the system. And I can tell you one thing. I mean, don't give up on Yahshua and God, because he's definitely going to be coming, and there's no doubt about it. And I think a lot of this manipulation and this new all these different ideas and them like taking over the internet and our browsers and changing things and trying to manipulate things. I think a lot of that is being done through the AI. I think the AI might be tampering with our YouTube videos. I don't know. I don't know what's happening with all that. But I can just tell you guys that if you're a gang stalker and you're out there, I mean, I shoot out a video. I was pretty pissed off one time, and it was happening. I had audio of, it sounded like somebody was forcing my wife to do things to him, and I that's kind of shit, man. That's not just peeking in on somebody because you think they're a terrorist or something. That's like manipulation and criminal acts. That's felony acts, psychological felony acts of assault, and you should look that up. We should be protected by the Constitution of Amendments, the Constitution of America, and there's a lot of referendums you guys are breaking, and nobody's doing anything because of the Patriot Act, and it's bullshit. And so you guys can just go out and hit out anybody you guys want, or rape any woman you want because of your power, and because you work for a corporation, or because you work for a security organization that's involved with this shit. So I think it's bullshit, and I think you guys will have a lot to answer for when it comes down to that time. So, and I can guarantee you that's coming. I know for a fact we win this. Okay, I know for a fact that you guys lose, and I know that you guys get stomped on in the end. So, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. Like I said, I've dared you guys to come and get me because I don't give a fuck, I really don't. Whether I live or die, I know we win. And, come and get me. Come put me out of my fucking misery. Do it. I mean, I dare you to. I've dared you to before. So if you're that sadistic and that much of a psychopath and you have not one bit of love in you, then fucking come and get me then. You shouldn't care about the consequences, right? So, anyway, that kind of upsets me. It upsets me more that you guys are targeting innocent women. 70% of the targeted women, they're women that are single. That you guys are targeting. You guys are fucking raping them and shit like that, and drugging them and stuff. That kind of shit right there. That ought to get people on the streets to come after you. If the mainstream media would fucking start covering that stuff. And I wish they would. I really wish. And there is going to be a time where they will, but I wish they would do it right now, because it's a lot of fucking to like think about for them. I mean, that's bullshit. And what else? And anyway, I just want to throw that out there. A couple things too. I was going to give you guys a little bit of advice. Apps. Watch out for your apps when you're getting them on your phone, because they're taking over your browsers on your computers so that you're only buying what they want you to buy, and you're only seeing information that they want you to see. So they've taken over my browsers. They don't let outsiders or people that, unless they're in their networks of corporations and people, they don't let you see other stuff. So I would I would recommend definitely getting the what is it called? The Tor network on your computers, and use that. And they have the Tor, the Orbach, or was it Orfox on the phones. Try to use that, but be careful because there's ways that they can get in easier and deeper on your phones through that, because it opens your phone up a little bit for them to actually come through on different tunneling systems as well. So be careful with that, and make sure I would try to figure out which tunnel they're coming through first, and make sure that's shut down through your Orfox or your Tor network before you get in there, because it's going to make it a lot easier for them to sabotage your phone, and basically watch you and monitor you through that. So also, what else was I going to say? Um, I know I did have some other things, but I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Tonight I'm kind of tired, and just kind of late. But yeah, I'll keep praying for you guys, and we're all together in this. I know we don't get to see each other; they keep us away from each other. I know a lot of your comments have been very helpful. One thing I want to shoot out there too is any of my content you guys can use for purposes of helping others to bring awareness to us and our cause and what's happening to us. Any of my content you can use for documentaries. It does not matter. I've had a couple of people ask to like put my content in some documentaries, and there was a guy that was supposed to do a documentary on me, and I could never get a hold of the guy again. Shoot, I mean, his phone was full with messages. I don't know if the guy was killed or what. I don't know what happened to him, but he never called me again. I never got a hold of him again. But I did get some messages, some comments I didn't get till like 5 or 4 months later after going to the library that I wasn't getting. And because I was able to get on their desktop there, and it said that they were trying to use some of my content for a documentary, and any of it for good purposes only. If you're going to make us out to be mentally ill and stuff, you cannot use it. I say no on that. So if it's for the cause of them experimenting upon us, and the cause of what's really happening to us, and what's obviously, I don't put lasers in my light bulbs because it's fun. I don't, break into my house because it's fun. So I can pretend like people are breaking in. I'm not that type of person, and I think people know me well enough to understand that about me. So at least the people I used to have in my life that you guys haven't completely isolated from my life. And yeah, just wanted to end it with that. You guys can use that content for anything you guys want. Other than that, that's about all I have, guys. And I just want to say, my prayers are with you guys, and just hold in there. And eventually the cavalry's going to come, the trumpet's going to blow, and they're going to come, man. And they're going to put a stomp on these bastards. And what's great about it is we get to come back and judge them. So just think about that. We get to come back and actually judge them for the crimes that they've committed against us. So that's going to be fun. It's just something to look forward to, and because we're going to get our retribution in the end. So anyway, I really appreciate you guys tuning in to my channel. I know some of this shit is bizarre to some of you that have never experienced it. I don't think we get too many people that aren't targeted individuals, because they try to isolate us so much. I mean, who knows? They try to shut down. We probably have our own basically our own internet, just for us, that nobody can actually see, that's actually still mind controlled within the system right now in the matrix. But we are living in some type of matrix, some type of a hell. I don't know. I would say abyss type of maybe plane that's in between or something. I don't think we've done it. I think somehow they've hijacked our consciousness. We've gotten in here, and we're stuck for a while. And I think we've all chosen it before we came here. I think once we're memory wiped, we don't remember it. But I know I've been further in the future than I am. I've come back from a future time of some sort. Just because of the things that I know, and some of the stuff that's come into some of the knowledge that I've just basically just pulled out of my head that I didn't have before. So not sure what's up with that. I know it's kind of like I said, people think this shit's crazy. It's not. I mean, we've been living on a prison planet for thousands of years, and these entities, these fallen angels, are basically, they've been in control of it all. They've controlled our governments, our religions, everything. And so, you really got to start thinking and get awake, because it's game time now. I mean, we don't have a lot of time left here. Things are happening very fast. I mean, they've almost, once 5G comes out, they're gonna have towers. I mean, in all the neighborhoods, and I'm not gonna be up for that at all. And I think people need to take a stand against that, because that's bullshit. They're already hiding the towers, the cell towers here, in trees and under buildings and shit like that. I mean, I've got one here in Lakewood. I got fired at the Ace Hardware there in Lakewood by Jewel and Wadsworth there for the Christmas lights, in Lakewood, Colorado, and they've got one behind there that's so low you can't see it from any streets, but it's there. It's huge. It's super wide, but they have it on a really low pole so nobody sees it. So they try to hide these things. And why are they hiding them? Why would they need to hide them if there's nothing wrong with them? If they're, just cell towers, they're so, you need to think about that. I mean, wake up, people. I mean, come on, man. I mean, that you guys got to get. I'm saying we need to go to the streets and start rioting and stuff, but you need to start getting active in this and start saying no, quit agreeing to it. If we start, like, blacklisting the businesses that are doing it and saying, hey, we're not going to buy your products, we're not going to be fed your technology anymore. Fuck your technology. And start doing things a little bit different, get back to the old ways, the old style of doing things. Hey, that's going to change a lot of stuff, because they're going to lose a lot of money, and they won't be able to do what they're doing anymore. So, they're using the technology that we buy against us. We're actually asking for it by running to the stores when the next iPhone comes out. We're actually saying, hey, please give me more torture. Please give me more mind control when we do that. I used to love my cell phone too. Now I hate cell phones, because I've been harassed on them for freaking 4 years. I don't give a shit anymore, and I appreciate things, the little things, nature walks, things like that, a lot more. I don't need that shit anymore. I know what it's being used for, and it's really evil. They're using that shit for evil, and they're watching everybody. And if you don't think they are, believe me, they are. They are. These people are sick, and if they find something on there, they're gonna blackmail you and get you into a program or something. That's what's happening. People are being coerced, they're being blackmailed, they're being paid off. This shit's happening because they have so much fucking money and power right now. So, they're gluttoned on power. I know that a lot of the Hollywood stuff has finally come out. I think I kind of called that one. I know that the cloning stuff is coming out again after that. So, that's going to be the next thing that starts coming out, is you're going to start seeing all the cloning. You're going to start realizing that they're cloning people, and they have been for a while. So, and that's going to be a shock to your system, but they're going to bring it out gradually to try to not shock you. And that's why they've been coming out with all the Hollywood movies and everything like that. And then after that, they're going to try to instigate the gun laws and stuff, and they're going to start taking down the militias